I guess I should tell you how everything fell apart, even though honestly, it's totally not my fault. I'm Rebecca, 29, and I'm literally the best thing that ever happened to my soon-to-be ex-husband. Like the absolute best. But some people just don't know how to appreciate a good thing when they have it, you know? It all started 2 years ago at Burton & Shaw Marketing when this total sweetheart walked into our department. Braden, 31, looking like a lost puppy with his pressed khakis and actually ironed dress shirts. The kind of guy who probably had his mom pick out his ties. But what caught my attention wasn't his boy-next-door looks, it was how everyone instantly liked him. Like, genuine nice guy energy. And let me tell you something about nice guys. They're literally the easiest to work with, if you know what I mean. First thing I noticed? No ring. Second thing? The way he'd get all flustered whenever I'd stop by his desk to ask questions about projects. Third, and this was the jackpot, found out through office gossip that he'd never had a serious girlfriend. Can you believe it? 31 and never had a real relationship. It was like the universe was handing me a blank canvas. I'm not saying I'm some kind of genius, but I know how to play my cards. Started small, coffee runs, lunch breaks where I just happened to sit at his table. The whole time, I had my dating apps running hot on the side. A girl's gotta keep her options open, right? That's where I met Tyler. He's not important right now, but trust me, he comes into play later. You should have seen how Braden's whole face would light up when I'd text him. Like the simplest, "Hey, thinking of you," would make his entire day. His family, though? They saw right through me from day one. His mom especially, calling me a Jezebel to his face. I had to Google what that even meant, but whatever. Old people and their weird Bible terms. The best part? Watching him stand up to his family for me. "Rebecca's different," he'd say. "You don't know her like I do." And he was right. They didn't know me like he did, because the me he knew was exactly what I wanted him to see. The caring girlfriend who just wanted to spend more time with him. The supportive partner who worried about negative influences in his life. 8 months. That's all it took from first coffee to walking down the aisle. His family nearly had a collective heart attack when we announced the engagement after 6 months, but Braden shut down every concern they raised. It was actually kind of sweet how he defended me, even when I was secretly rolling my eyes at his passion. Like, calm down, it's not that serious. Everyone thought I was rushing because I was so in love. Please. I'm not stupid. I saw a guy with a great job, no debt, a hefty savings account, and most importantly, 0 relationship experience to compare me to. You know how hard it is to find a decent-looking guy in his 30s who doesn't have relationship baggage? It's like finding a unicorn, but better, because this unicorn had a 401k. So yeah, maybe I'm good at getting what I want. Maybe I knew exactly what I was doing when I love-bombed him with attention and slowly started suggesting his friends weren't really supporting our relationship. And maybe, just maybe, I was already planning my next moves while he was writing his heartfelt wedding vows. But hey, all's fair in love and war, right? Looking back now, I probably should have been more careful about certain things. But when you're winning the game, you don't really think about what happens when the other player finally learns the rules. I'm honestly kind of proud of how smoothly I handled everything after the wedding. Like it was basically an art form. First thing I did, convinced Braden we needed to move across town, to start our new life together. Really, I just needed him further from his clingy family and those annoying childhood friends who kept trying to plan guys' nights. The new place was perfect. A cute little house that ate up most of his savings for the down payment. But whatever, that's what marriages are for, right? Combining resources and all that. I made sure my name was on everything, obviously. Just smart financial planning, if you ask me. Meanwhile, I kept my old apartment on the side, telling him it was still under lease. Really, it was my little getaway spot where Tyler and I could meet up without anyone asking questions. My friends thought I was an absolute genius. We'd meet up for wine nights, and I'd tell them all about my latest improvements to Braden. How I got him to stop gaming with his old college buddies because we needed quality time. How I slowly convinced him his best friend Jake was jealous of our relationship. The way I'd cry and say his family was trying to drive us apart whenever they invited us over. My girls would literally be taking notes. The best part? Braden had no idea what was happening. He actually thanked me for helping him see the toxic people in his life. Meanwhile, I was out some nights with Tyler, telling Braden I was at work events or girls' nights. Tyler wasn't exactly Prince Charming, living with roommates at 33 and borrowing my credit card more often than I'd like, but he was exciting. Dangerous. Everything Braden wasn't. It took about a year, but I finally had everything perfect. Braden was completely isolated, working from home because I convinced him the office environment was affecting his mental health. His family had basically given up trying to reach him after I blocked their numbers on his phone. And his friends? They stopped trying after I made enough scenes about them disrespecting our marriage. Every penny he made went straight into our joint account, which really meant my shopping account. I had him thinking it was normal that I spent thousands on designer bags while he asked permission to buy new work shirts. Tyler especially loved the gifts I'd buy him with Braden's money. Not that Braden ever checked the credit card statements. He was too busy trying to be a good husband. My friends started calling me the wife whisperer, like that dog whisperer guy, but for training husbands. I had Braden so well trained, he wouldn't even go to the gym without texting me first. Meanwhile, I was living my best life, having my boring, stable husband at home while keeping my fun side piece on the down low. Honestly, I thought I had it all figured out. But here's the thing about having it all figured out: you get comfortable. Cocky, even. And that's exactly when I made my biggest mistake. I got greedy. I wanted to see just how far I could push things. Turns out even the nicest guys have a breaking point. And boy did I find Braden's. I guess I should explain what led up to everything falling apart. So there I was, living my best life. I had my perfect little setup. Braden working from home like a good boy, all his money flowing into our joint account, and Tyler getting more demanding about wanting to see me. I was juggling everything like a pro until I decided to test just how much control I really had over my husband. It started with this designer bag I wanted. Nothing crazy, just a cute little $4,000 number I'd been eyeing. Braden actually had the nerve to suggest we discuss big purchases when he saw the charge. Can you believe it? His money was our money, but suddenly he wanted to act like he had a say in things. That's when I decided to show him exactly who was running this show. I told him straight up. He either accepts that I make the financial decisions, or he can forget about any attention in the bedroom. Like, at all. I even threw in this whole crying act about how him questioning my spending made me feel unloved and controlled. My friends thought it was hilarious when I told them at brunch, especially when I mentioned how he practically begged for forgiveness. But this is where it gets good. And by good, I mean everything blew up in my face. I started pushing more and more, seeing just how far I could take things. New rules popped up almost daily. He needed my permission to visit the coffee shop down the street. Had to send photos to prove he was where he said he was. Meanwhile, I was meeting Tyler at fancy restaurants, charging everything to our joint card because who was going to stop me? The final straw? I decided to really flex my power. Told Braden he needed to transfer his entire inheritance from his grandparents into our joint account, to prove his commitment to our marriage. It wasn't even that much money, maybe like $50,000, but I knew it was special to him or whatever, his precious family legacy or something. I gave him my ultimate ultimatum: transfer the money, or basically accept that our marriage was over. I even pulled my favorite move, packing a bag and threatening to stay with my sister. Actually, headed to Tyler's roommate-filled apartment, but Braden didn't need to know that. That's when something changed. It was subtle at first, so subtle that I totally missed it because I was too busy bragging to my friends about how I had him wrapped around my finger. But looking back, that moment, right there, watching him stare at me with those empty eyes as I delivered my ultimatum, that was when I lost everything. I just didn't know it yet. Instead of his usual panic when I threatened to leave, Braden just sat there, super quiet, with this look I'd never seen before. He didn't beg, didn't argue, just nodded and said, "I'll think about it." Which, honestly, should have been my first warning. My sweet, predictable Braden never just thought about anything. He acted, he fixed, he gave in. But I was too caught up in my victory dance to notice the red flags. Too busy texting Tyler about how I was about to come into some serious cash, too focused on planning my next power play to see that my perfect little puppet had spotted his strings and was reaching for scissors. The changes were small at first. Braden started going to the gym without texting me first. He'd be gone for hours, and when I'd blow up his phone, he'd just reply with a simple, "working out," instead of his usual apologetic novels. I tried my usual tactics, crying, threatening, silent treatment. But something was different. It was like throwing water balloons at a brick wall. Then he started working late at coffee shops. Me. I was the one who was supposed to be making excuses about being out late, not him. When I showed up to surprise him once, he was actually there, just sitting with his laptop, looking annoyingly peaceful. But get this, he had transferred his work line to a new phone, a phone I didn't have access to. He said it was company policy for security reasons. Yeah, right? The final straw? I checked our joint account one day to find half the money gone. Half. Just transferred right out to some new account I couldn't access. When I confronted him, screaming about trust and marriage and all that, he just looked at me with these calm eyes and said, "I thought we agreed big purchases needed discussion?" The audacity. He was throwing my own words back at me. I tried every trick in my playbook. Threatened to leave? He just nodded. Cried about how he was hurting me? He offered to recommend a therapist. Tried to seduce him? He said he had an early meeting. Me. Getting rejected? This had never happened before, ever. The worst part was realizing he'd somehow reconnected with his family without me knowing. Found out he'd been having lunch with his mom every Wednesday for a month. A month, behind my back. And his best friend Jake? Apparently they'd been hitting the gym together this whole time. All those working out texts? He was literally rebuilding his entire support system, while I was busy bragging to my friends about how I had him under control. Tyler wasn't helping either. He kept demanding more time, more money, more everything. But with Braden actually checking the credit card statements now, I couldn't keep funding our little adventures. And let me tell you, Tyler was a lot less fun when I wasn't buying him things. My friends started acting weird too, like they were pulling away. Melissa even had the nerve to suggest that maybe I was a bit controlling. Me? Controlling? I was just doing what any smart woman would do. But suddenly, everyone was looking at me different, like they were finally seeing something they hadn't noticed before. I tried one last power play, told him I was going to expose all his emotional abuse on social media. You know what he did? Pulled out a folder with screenshots of my text messages to friends, bragging about how I manipulated him. Screenshots of credit card statements showing my suspicious purchases. Even had messages from Tyler's roommate documenting when I'd been there. Who even does that kind of research? That's when I realized my sweet, naive Braden hadn't just grown a backbone. He'd been planning. All those quiet nods, all that calm acceptance, he'd been 10 steps ahead of me this whole time. And I, the master manipulator, had been too arrogant to see it coming. Then came the day that shattered my entire world. Braden sat at our kitchen table. Well, technically his table since he'd paid for everything, with this eerily calm expression. He slid over a manila envelope like we were in some dramatic TV show. Divorce papers. Already filled out. With a sticky note marking every spot I needed to sign. I tried to laugh it off at first. "Baby, let's talk about this," I said, reaching for his hand like I'd done 1,000 times before. He pulled away like I was poisonous. No. Getting rejected again. Then he dropped the bomb that made my blood run cold. "Rebecca, I know about Tyler." My first instinct was to deny everything, obviously. But Braden just kept pulling out papers from his little folder of receipts. Pictures, timeline, everything. He'd hired a private investigator months ago. Months. All those times I thought I was being so clever. There was someone watching, documenting every lunch date, every stolen kiss, every time I went to Tyler's sketchy apartment. I switched tactics, tried to turn it around on him. "You had me followed? That's psychotic. Wait until everyone hears about this." But Braden just smiled, actually smiled, and said the most terrifying words I'd ever heard. "They already know." Turns out, while I was busy playing puppet master, Braden had been methodically showing everyone, and I mean everyone, exactly who I really was. His family? They'd been helping him gather evidence. My friends? They'd seen all the proof. Even my parents knew. He'd been quietly building his case while I thought I was destroying him. I tried my last resort, called Tyler for backup. Thought maybe if Braden saw I had someone else, he'd fight for me. Wanna know what my knight in shining armor said? New phone, who dis? Ghosted me. Completely. Apparently, sugar mamas aren't so attractive when they lose access to their husband's credit cards. The worst part wasn't even losing the house, the joint accounts, or my reputation. It was watching Braden walk away without looking back. No anger, no tears, just done. His family welcomed him back like some returning hero. His friends threw him a freedom party. I saw the pictures on Instagram. Everyone acted like he'd escaped some horrible trap. But you want to know the most humiliating part? When I tried to post my side of the story online, playing the victim card about how my husband had blindsided me, his lawyer, yeah, he had one of those ready too, just released a small sample of my texts to friends bragging about my manipulation tactics. The internet turned on me so fast I got whiplash. Even my own sister commented, "You got what you deserved." My perfectly crafted image? Gone. My backup plan with Tyler disappeared faster than my access to the joint accounts. My friend group? Suddenly too busy to answer my calls. Turns out, people aren't too keen on keeping a friend who's been exposed as a manipulative cheater. Who knew? So here I am, 6 months later, writing this from my cousin's lumpy couch, my fourth temporary crash pad since the divorce. Funny how quick people get tired of a house guest, even family. My own parents won't even let me stay with them. Mom said something about finally facing consequences and personal growth, whatever that means. I had to move out of my secret apartment. Turns out keeping up rent payments is hard when you've been living off someone else's income for 2 years. Tyler blocked my number after I kept asking to crash at his place. His roommates actually laughed at me when I showed up uninvited. And me, getting laughed at by a bunch of guys who split a 2-bedroom apartment 4 ways. Meanwhile, Braden's living his best life. Got a promotion at work. Bought a new house. A bigger one than ours, by the way. His Instagram is full of happy family photos and gym progress pics. He even went on a guy's trip to Europe with Jake and his other friends. The same friends I spent years convincing him were toxic. The irony isn't lost on me. I tried dating apps again, thinking I could find another Braden, but apparently, word gets around. 3 different guys actually messaged me just to say they'd heard about me, and to stay away from their friends. Like, who even does that? This town isn't even that small. My resume looks like a joke now. 2-year gap because I was too busy playing housewife and sneaking around with Tyler. Can't use Braden as a reference, obviously. And my old work friends, they're suddenly not comfortable recommending me. Something about ethical concerns. Please. Everyone manipulates a little bit at work. I just happen to be better at it. The worst part is watching everyone move on without me. My friends all unfollowed me on social media, but I still see them in group photos at places I used to go. Braden's family's Christmas cards somehow still made it to my cousin's house. They all look so happy, like they never even missed me. Even my sister's wedding is coming up, and I'm not invited. My own sister. She said she doesn't want any drama, as if I would cause drama at her wedding. Okay, maybe I would, but still, I'm her sister. Sometimes I catch myself thinking about how different things could be if I'd just been a little more careful. If I hadn't gotten so cocky. If I'd paid attention to the signs that Braden wasn't as naive as I thought. But then I remember, it's not really my fault. How was I supposed to know he'd grow a backbone? How was I supposed to know he'd been playing the long game while I was focused on the short con? People keep telling me this is my rock bottom moment, that I should use this as a chance to reflect and grow and all that self-help garbage. But honestly, the only thing I've learned is that next time, I need to be smarter, more careful, keep better receipts, because there will be a next time. I'm too pretty, too smart, and too good at this to stay down for long. I just need to find the right target, someone else who needs my special kind of love. And this time I won't get sloppy. I won't leave a paper trail. I won't brag to friends who might screenshot my texts. But for now, I'm stuck here on this lumpy couch, watching my Instagram followers drop, applying for jobs I'm too good for, and dodging my cousin's hints about finding my own place. And somewhere across town, my ex-husband is probably laughing about it all with his perfect little family, living in his perfect new house, living his perfect life without me. I mean, really, how dare he ruin my marriage by not letting me control him anymore?